Join Aegis Motor Adventures as they ride the TransAmerica Trail through New Mexico's back roads. You won't want to miss this backcountry trek through desert and high plains. Here's Mike with the day's intro. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Aegis Motor Adventures. Hey, today we are here in El Paso and we have about 20 miles and we'll intersect the TransAmerica Trail. And then we'll be heading back north, backcountry through New Mexico. Join us as we hit those back roads. This morning we will be heading east on US 62 towards the Hueco Mountains before turning north towards the Sacramento Mountains. Cerro Alto Mountain is the highest peak at 6,703 feet in the range. The range extends from Texas into New Mexico. Hueco Tanks State Park and Historic Site is a great place to learn about the local history of the area. Ancient hunter-gatherers have been using Hueco tanks to survive and transit the Chihuahuan Desert. Petroglyphs are found here and date habitation for the last 10,000 years. As we get started on the TransAmerica Trail, you can see the roads are a mixture of gravel and hard-packed dirt. The hard-packed dirt was rutted, and it would be impossible to go down these roads if it was wet out. They would just be too slippery to be able to get through. You also need to use a lot of caution if it happens to be raining out for flash floods. We go through a lot of creeks and riverbeds that are dry on this trip, but they can fill up with water very quickly. Cattle grates and cattle will be a recurring theme on this trip as we head north. Just like the corrals that we saw in Wyoming, here I'm sure they are used on a regular basis to load and unload cattle. There were a few ranches back in here, but for the most part, it was pretty much wide open with no ranch homes or barns visible. There were some also that had been abandoned where I'm sure the families had moved to a larger locale. County Road E28 is remote and rugged. There are areas back in here where you go across stream crossings and it's just completely rocky. You'll really enjoy this if you like the backcountry. The roads in this area are mainly comprised of river rock, and it's just been bulldozed off to the side a little bit, but there's some big river rock in this area, and it makes the road just a little bit tricky to navigate. County Road F506 is another road that was really remote and really rugged. There were a few places back in here, but not very many. We also ran into something that was really unusual. There was one spot we went through where there were about 30 backpacks ditched in a creek area. I didn't see anybody. I don't know if they were hiding, but we just kept right on a-going. This truck hauling a flatbed trailer back in there was the only vehicle we passed the entire day. And we speculated, because there were some disabled vehicles out in the desert, that maybe he was going to pick up one of those disabled vehicles. This is a great clip that shows you where you're going to cross a stream or river crossing here. That could create a flash flood area right there, and if it was raining out, I would avoid these areas completely. Here's another stream river crossing. We crossed a lot of these. It wouldn't surprise me if we went across 50 of these in our trip through New Mexico. When we get to the Sacramento Mountains, we climb just a little bit here. They're more like big hills, but it was a beautiful area. We did encounter this small section of pavement, and I believe it was there just to prevent washouts on the roadway. It was unexpected to see these horses because our entire trip included very few horses. Tons of cattle, but not very many horses. Eventually, we pop out onto Highway 24 and go through the small town of Pinon, New Mexico, before heading on the back roads again. The TransAmerica Trail takes you on the eastern edge of the Lincoln National Forest. There were a bunch of roads that went up into the forest and into the mountains that looked like they would be wonderful to try and research and kind of poke your nose into to see what was up there. It might be a great place to camp if you come through here. As you can see, it's a little more mountainous here as we go through the Lincoln National Forest, and we go by One Tree Peak, and it tops out at 7,089 feet. The roads through here were in really nice shape, and I'm guessing that because it was in the national forest, they received a little more attention than some of those backcountry county roads. We pop out on Highway 82 and just do a short stint before hitting the back roads again. Roy and I pull off into this little parking lot along the highway here, and we're going to take a break, have some water and some snacks before heading out. I ended up finding a pile of old asphalt and used that as my chair. This next section takes us through some really remote areas, maybe the most remote area that we've gone through all day. I'm amazed at these ranches this far back in the backcountry, because I'm sure they have to travel an hour or more to get it to any major city to get supplies. It's a really rugged lifestyle out here that they lead. Likewise, I wonder how in the world do they get water to these cattle? Cattle need water every day, and so water is pretty precious out here in New Mexico. In the high desert, I don't know if they have it in tanks or windmills mostly, but somehow they have to get water out here. Despite this being desert and high plains, the serenity and remoteness of this place certainly can bring some peace of mind as you travel through here. The landscape just goes on and on and on. No cars, no trucks, no air pollution, no noise. It's just really a beautiful area. Here is one of the several abandoned homesteads that we passed this day. I can only imagine what it would have been like if you were the only homestead within maybe a 40 to 50 mile radius. It would have been a lonely existence, and hard work would have been the rule of the day. I was surprised to see these steers in with cows. Usually I think they segregate those, but maybe not here. Here's another ranch that appears that it may have been abandoned. It's pretty interesting, though, and it looks like it wouldn't take a whole lot to get it going again. The road is noticeably getting better, so that means we must be getting close to a major road. That usually is a good indication. We've made it to the highway, and we'll be taking the highway US 70 down to Ruidoso, where we'll spend the night. It's a little bit of an alteration of our plan, but I'll explain at the end. Ruidoso Downs is a racetrack that features races for thoroughbreds and quarter horses. It looked like it would be really interesting. I don't know how often they have races there, but that would be kind of fun to see. And here we are riding through Ruidoso. It's a neat little mountain town, and I'm sure there's a lot of tourist attractions here and little shops that would be fun. Hey, a few things of note that happened today. One of them is that we could not get hotels in Capitan, New Mexico. And so we had to get a hotel in Ruidoso. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. Ruidoso. And so we missed just a small section of the TransAmerica Trail that went from the highway up to Capitan. We're not going to go back and catch that because we'd have to go way out of our way to get back to it. We're just going to drive straight there and pick up. And we're also tomorrow we're going to bypass that section that's really, really rough and take the big bike cut around. And so we'll be doing that tomorrow also. Wow, what a great day we had. Boy, it sure was a lot of fun, and we were in some backcountry, I'm here to tell you. We got into that sand pit. Roy and I both about dumped it, but we made it through okay. And we had a couple roads that were really challenging. The rest of it wasn't too terribly bad. Well, I hope you liked the video today as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll see you tomorrow as we get back on the TransAmerica Trail. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, boy, I'm whipped. Roy's whipped. We got a pretty good workout today. We went about 160 miles on the TransAmerica Trail, and we've probably put in over 200 total. So it was a long day, and it really gave us a workout. It's gonna be a double Advil night for me. See you tomorrow.